And Hester is going to run it out past the 40 into Giants territory. He is going to go all the way. Touchdown, Chicago.
Trying to find somebody open and throws an interception. And it's Charles Woodson's 55th of his career.
Dives for the touchdown, San Francisco.
I want to play desperately, and I'm going to try to drive everyone nuts till they give me a shot.
Favre threw an almost impossible 336 career interceptions.
See that?
Yeah. We have here the Brett Favre interceptions calendar.
It's the lovable kicking bear doll. And guess what? It comes with its own goalpost. Isn't that neat?
Double doink.
Hey, football fans, welcome back to Cut the Cheese, Poke the Bear, Roast the Niner. And we are headed into what is Week 9 of the NFL season. Kicked off this week, Texans at the Jets in a barn burner of a boring game between two teams that couldn't seem to get it together for almost the entire game. I sat through the whole thing and found myself wondering why until about midway through the third quarter. Gentlemen, this week we've got most of our teams playing late in the day, with the exception, of course, of the Niners, who are on their bye week. What are you looking forward to in Week 9? Let's start with Lord Uther this week.
Coaching.
Can you mention the end of last week, just for fun? Can you tell us how you were feeling?
What do you want me to mention? Where should I begin?
Like, just what in your head immediately, if you can say it in a PG-13 sense, like when you saw that play. I mean, honestly,
sure.
It was
You want? I'll tell you exactly what I think. Excuse me. I get verklempt just getting ready to talk about it. Sorry, I don't want to keep hacking into my microphone like some people would do. So my whole thought is, if I see it two ways. It just continues to prove that Eberflus is awful. You guys, I called it Eberfluitis, right? Here's what's going to happen. He'll get fired at the end of the season, and then he'll get a defensive head, like he'll be a defensive coach for someone, which is all he should ever be, is the head of defense. That's it, right? So I'll take it from another perspective. If I was the coach on that field, I take Tyreek out. The first time he tries to poke someone in the eye, you're done. I don't care if you're a pro. Obviously, this kid has never been coached properly at some point to not do these things, or he was the best athlete and you don't want to take your best athletes out because as a coach you have too much ego, or you don't have enough guts to do so because you don't want to talk to that parent or conform to the way games are played today. Obviously, you can tell I had a situation this week that I was talking to my students about in general that I was not very happy about. That happened, but that didn't have to do with the Bears. Or I call a timeout when he's walking down the sidelines, taunting the crowd with his back to the play, and I take him out at that point and I replace him just so I can actually have people in the game that are paying attention to the football and not worrying about fans or the sideline. Then the perfect thing happened, and they caught the ball and they won the game. Because he was out of position. I don't know football except for Madden, which even then, I don't know if that makes me an expert, but it'd be like in soccer, you should have someone, or in basketball, at some point, someone needs to be on the last man. They can't be by themselves. No one, because he's screwing around, that's the result of it. And then you have no one spying Daniels. You have this the pass rush actually almost got to him at some point, but you let him step into his throw. There's just no one swatting the ball down. Like it's almost like they did a reverse set backwards to the offensive player. So it was just all these things. But look, I've said this before. I'm going to say it now, and you're going to hear it forever. When you think you're bigger than the game and your coach doesn't have the guts to pull you or the vision to pull you, you're awful as a coach. I don't care if you coach 4-year-olds or you coach the pros. That guy has never been disciplined properly. Those are things you as an athlete yourself should not be doing, and you should know better. So that's what you get. Now, I don't think they're going to start him this week. I would have benched him and fined him, or I would have cut him. I mean, that may sound crazy, but the rest of your players won't do it again. It's that old adage of sometimes someone's got to be an example. He's lost control of that locker room. Now everyone's turning on him. There are a lot of interviews this week on the local radio station. Cole Kmet stepped all over him. And then Keenan Allen did the same thing, just stepped all over him, all over Eberflus. We're not practicing well. We're not prepared. Like they're throwing him under the bus. So this guy at the beginning of the season, who I thought was a player's coach, now because they're losing, right, now they're turning on him, which they should have got rid of him at the end of last season. But I've been railing on that the entire time, and looking back on our previous podcast, which I'm sure everyone does as well and shares out, they'll see the common theme of, I've been saying from day one, you're probably expecting too much of the Bears. After the first win, let me rephrase that, after the first win. Like, this is not what you think it's going to be. This is not the team you're looking for. And it's still not the team you're looking for. We're in trouble. Rightfully so. Go ahead. I can see you really want to ask.
No. But okay, I was going to ask, do you think the veterans in the locker room see that lack of discipline, and then this is why, Cole Kmet and these guys are like, hey, this guy's trash? Like, it's a sense that they are looking, for someone to, like, if a coach doesn't do that to one player and the other guys who are doing their jobs and are practicing hard and are following their assignments, I mean, that's got to rub off poorly, for them, where they're just like, hey, if he's not going to yank this guy for, grandstanding in the final seconds. I mean, that's how you, quote, lose the locker room, it would be my impression. But, I mean, I think it's 4-3 right now. With the Bears. I mean, obviously with a rookie quarterback and these other things that you've talked about, all these headwinds that you've battled, you're still in a favorable position versus, a 2-5, 2-6 squad. I mean, is Caleb Williams' development, are you pleased with it so far, given, you're grading on kind of a low curve? I mean, what should Bears fans be excited about?
Well, I think you should be excited about Caleb Williams. And I said this before, and again, I'll say it again. There's been a lot of this, should we have gotten rid of Justin Fields? And I continue to say, you can just see in an athlete when he has that little something that he understands the game. I'm going to use Wemby as an example from the NBA. There have been a lot of 7+ foot players, even 7'7" players like George Mirasan and Manute Bol and people like that. Mark Eaton, who was 7'3" and just looked like Sasquatch out there when he was playing. And you've got this Wemby kid who can do step back. He hit a step back 3 last night. Like, he adjusted the arc of his shot. It was incredibly impressive for someone who's that tall to do those things, right? So, and he's in the best possible hands with Greg Popovich. Who else would you want coaching Wemby? I can't think of another NBA coach, because Popovich has the legacy, has the coaching resume, which is the legacy, has the respect of the players, has the respect of the organization. That kid's going to listen to him. They bring in Chris Paul to run screen and roll with him, and they also know Chris Paul is going to lead this kid as a veteran and teach him. That's what you want. So Caleb Williams, I am excited about him. I think he's got the little things that can make him a great quarterback. What I continue to not be excited about, which we continue to hear, is head coach. I mean, now I want to go back and see how many head coaches the Bears have had since the Pittsburgh Steelers have only had 3. 3. I can only imagine how many head coaches the Bears have had. It's a mess. It's just an absolute mess. So, yes, I have faith in Williams. That's about the best thing I can say right now. And it's kind of scary because that division, is kind of like they still could make a play, but I said it last week. Their schedule is jacked the rest of the way. There's no way.
Starting with Arizona today.
They're going to lose that game because they're not going to be in the right headspace. So in the locker room, in my opinion, one of two things happens, right? They're going to go, I can do whatever I want. What does it matter? I want the ball as much as you can, Caleb. Throw me the ball. I got to make my incentive. Throw me the ball. It's not about winning anymore, right? It's about me. Or it's going to turn into, I'm not going to listen to Eberflus anything he says. That guy doesn't know what he's talking about. They're all going to be huddling up talking about Eberflus and not focusing on the game. That's a problem. That's a problem. So, obviously, I'm very upset and very passionate. Like, whenever we play Detroit, they are going to steamroll us the way they've been playing the past couple weeks. The Packers are going to pick them apart. It just doesn't look good. It just doesn't. So, there's been some rumors that they might try and pull the plug on him right now and just put an interim coach in. I don't think they're going to do that, right? For some reason, they think they got to justify cutting this goof loose. I mean, as an organization, you might just get the respect of the players by cutting them loose now, being like, we're going to have an interim coach, and we're going to hire a real person next year, and it's not going to be the interim head coach. So just so you know, Mr. Interim Head Coach, it is not going to be you. It's not going to be. And we're going to get someone next year. All right. Maybe I'll calm down. I don't know. So much going on. Yeah.
Spoken like a true Chicago fan. Yeah, we're going to get rid of their coach.
I got to have some sausages to feel better about this today.
I will say this for the Bears. I totally agree. Look, that was a freak throw at the end of that game. Even I thought the Bears were going to win. But yeah, you can't have somebody running their mouth like that.
And you're a defensive coach, and you don't stop like the 15 and out that they need or the 12 and out that they need. You know they need that. You drop back so they can get in position to even throw that ball.
Right? How did that happen? And that's Detroit was asking themselves that same question when Aaron Rodgers did it to them. And every other team Aaron Rodgers has ever done that to, they were asking the same question, and not including the Texans, by the way. No, I totally agree. The one thing I will say is that I do think NFL players, some of them, lack discipline. And it's really frustrating as a fan to see that. Like, I know at that level, there's going to be some jawing, there's some trash talking. That's just sports, and that's a healthy part of the game. But I poke my finger very squarely at Jaire Alexander. The guy has been injured a few times this year, and he's a good player. Look, I'm not here to say that Jaire Alexander is not a good player. I don't think we have another great option at cornerback. But every time I see him running his effing mouth on the field, on TV, most games he does that in, he screws up. Big time. More than once. Because he's too busy jaw-jacking to play the game. The last game, he did okay. He did blow a couple of things in that game. They were minor, didn't affect the outcome of the game, and he made some big plays. But I hate seeing that. Shut the hell up. Just shut up. I don't care if you have a beef with Stephon Diggs or XYZ receiver or lineman or whatever. Shut up. You're there to play a game. At the end of the day, you're getting paid, and you better be making plays. And yeah, sometimes he does. Sometimes he makes great, huge plays. But there is nothing more irritating to me than seeing a prima donna out there acting like a jackass, whether we're winning big or we're just playing a really competitive game and I know tensions are high. Balance yourself out. Learn how to control yourself, because you could channel those emotions and make big plays and celebrate when you get a pick six. When's the last time Jaire Alexander's had an interception? How many has he had this year? I don't see Xavier Kinney out there, who I think has the most this season or is tied for the most for interceptions. He's not out there running his mouth every other play, wagging his finger in people's face, yelling at people on the sideline. Shut the hell up. Prove yourself. in the game before you're going to do stuff like that. And I like Coach LaFleur, but just like Eberflus, you're playing a dangerous game allowing people to have those kinds of attitudes on the team. Because and I'm not shitting on Jaire Alexander's legacy. He's been a good player. I think he's still going to do some great things. No hate necessarily, but I'm highly critical of the times when he's not in the game and the times when he's in the game and is ineffective. And it's true, people don't throw at him, but there's a lot of corners that people don't throw at, and then they get burned for a big play because their head's so big that they can't seem to put shit together. So eat some humble pie. The last thing a championship team has is people with large egos. That's I think why Kansas City's not doing as well this year as they probably could be. Look at Patrick Mahomes. He was benched on my fantasy team for Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. And Rodgers outplayed him the last couple of weeks. I think that's ego. And there could be other things going on. I don't watch every Chiefs game, but this is the time of year when teams are getting into their best shape. They're playing their best football, and you really need to play your absolute A game in a gauntlet, especially from the Bears. Packers have a little bit more favorable schedule, but it's still going to be tough. Even playing against the hapless Bears, it's going to be tough as hell. We're the toughest division in football. You got to play flawless in every facet, which means you don't have time to talk trash. You're up 40 points, talk some trash. You earned it. But if you're not up 3-4 scores, shut the hell up. I'm sorry. As a fan, I don't want to see it. I want to see you out there having fun. Now, if it's some, good-natured ribbon and you're laughing with the guy, oh, that was you just broke up that pass, or oh, that was a really good catch. You burnt me, man. Hey, have some sportsmanship. I know there's a lot of folks out there that hate sportsmanship. They hate the idea of having fun on the field. But at the end of the day, guys are getting hurt. They're having their lives ruined on the field every week. There's some folks that are getting hurt so bad they might not be able to walk when they retire. When you're playing in a game like that, you don't need your ego and your trash talk to interrupt the fun of the game. And that is why I'm going to tie this back to my favorite person in the world, who I have lost a little more respect for recently, but I'm still touting this bandwagon of Brett Favre being the greatest player of all time. The guy loved the game. He genuinely had fun. Did he talk trash? You bet your ass he talked trash. But he did it with good nature, good spirit, good sportsmanship. He won big. He lost big. All the while had a smile on his face. I mean, hell, he used to tell Warren Sapp to hit him harder after probably concussing him on the field. So, look, we won last week, and I'm angry. I have to say, we won last week. We should have won big against the Jaguars. We played like crap a lot of that game. I want to see us play a lot better this week. We have a really hard game against the Lions this afternoon, and I'm not looking forward to it, to be honest with you. We might get our ass kicked at home by the Lions, and historically, we've had the upper hand. But Dan Campbell, kudos to that dude. I know he is goofy as hell, but the guy's passionate. He coaches like a Brett Favre. He loves the game. He loves his players. He hates to lose. But I guarantee he's not tolerating, warrantless trash talk on the field. I guarantee he's pulling guys down by the helmet and saying, shut the hell up and play the game. Do your job. Know your role and shut your mouth. I love to quote The Rock anytime I can. But seriously, that's discipline. And when you have a disciplined, well-oiled machine, you win games. Look at Bill Belichick's teams over the years. You think that guy, he even got Randy Moss to tone it down. That's saying something.
All right, gentlemen, rapid fire on some games of the week, WEEK, and one game of the week before you guys lodge in on your team's picks. The Niners, of course, taking a nice week off, playing a little golf, and getting healthy. Gentlemen, an interesting game. It did not look this interesting 3 weeks ago, but changes have been afoot, and we are seeing some real effort. Chargers at Cleveland. Is Cleveland now without Deshaun Watson? Are they suddenly a different, dangerous team? Maybe not to contend in the AFC North, but I don't think anybody wants to play that team after their last couple of efforts.
I love addition by subtraction. And that's completely what that's about. And now all these guys want to step up and play because you got rid of the distraction that was your addition by subtraction. And if I was Vanilla Ice, I would just drop that into a rhyme somewhere because it was that good just now.
Nice.
So, yes, Cleveland's a different beast. And now, sometimes when you put people in that position, they step up even more. And it's one of those stories you like to see. Go ahead, Urza. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I couldn't agree anymore. I think Cleveland just became a team to watch. As a matter of fact, that might be the noon game I watched today, since nobody important is playing. Hey. No, I don't like Deshaun Watson. I didn't like him in Houston. I don't like him as a person. I thought that was a terrible move by Cleveland. I think getting rid of Baker was a bad move by Cleveland. I think Cleveland's a bad franchise. Don't get me wrong. Cleveland fans are great people. They're like Detroit fans. They're hardy. They've lived through the shit. Just like the Packers fans pre-Super Bowl 31. Like, they lived through it. I think they do way better without Deshaun Watson. I think they wasted a ton of money on a guy who shouldn't even be playing football and probably should be in jail. 100%. They're going to win today. I think they're going to win big. I think they shocked the hell out of the Chargers. I think it's going to be like a 34+, and I think they win by 2 scores at least.
Dallas Falcons. Dallas coming off that Monday night loss to the Niners, and the Falcons somewhat up and down, but mostly trending up in the NFC South.
I like that.
Sorry, I was just kind of looking. Yeah, I feel like the Falcons have kind of surprised me. I lately. I agree with that. Who are you taking in that one there, Urza?
I got the Falcons upending the Cowboys. I know they're hungry for a win, but they're a terrible team, and Dak Prescott's a waste of money.
I just want to do it to see what happens to that team and Jerry Jones after they lose another one as the spiral just continues and Mike McCarthy's job is also on the line at this point.
We talk a lot about the NFC North being the best division in all of football, and it is. But a key NFC West minus the Niners this week, in addition to Arizona hosting Chicago, Rams at Seattle. Now, Seattle has been like Atlanta, except they seem to trend down these days, whereas the Rams, they look like they might have gotten healthy with Cooper Kupp and Pakua, all now back, and we're not going to trade them at the deadline. So, I don't know, Rams-Seahawks could be intriguing in the afternoon.
It's going to be a great game. I think that's going to be a hard-fought one, probably going to come down to the wire. I'd like to see a good Rams team. I do think Seattle always has that weird advantage at home. I think they win today, but I think it's by the slimmest of margins, maybe a field goal, maybe a late touchdown.
I'm going to go, yeah, I'm a home team guy, and that point differential. No, my first gut was Rams. I'm going to go Rams. I'll go Rams.
Ramming it.
And we don't even have to analyze it. We can just acknowledge the game of the week, WEAK, would be the Patriots at the Titans in Tennessee.
Home team, I'll go there. They're just so awful, though. Golly.
I'm going to take the Pats.
Yeah, I go Pats, too, on that.
Yeah, I think the Pats win. I don't think it's going to be a good game. I don't know that I'd watch that one. If you're flipping channels on these noon games and you just want to watch for a few minutes, it might be all right. I will say the Patriots have a surprisingly good receiving core, and I think the Titans, just in all aspects, are really struggling. I think the Patriots win, probably by a touchdown.
Bring back Ryan Fitzpatrick. I mean, come on.
Fitzmagic would fit.
Yes.
All right, so then for the guys that are playing today in the afternoon slot, head-to-head, How do you handicap specifically Bears, Cardinals, and Kyler Murray and Caleb Williams, and Detroit, Green Bay, which is probably the game of the week, WEEK underlined, just from a record and how their two teams are going to get after each other. I know that Ursa's a little wary, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to give them their best shot at home.
I mean, for the Bears game, I'm going to go Cardinals 21, Bears 20. The Bears just can't make it happen. Here's the other thing I don't like either. Again, sports talk is sports talk radio for a reason, but they're like, Caleb Williams is going to be really up for the game this week because he wants to prove himself against Kyle Murray. You're a pro. You're up for the game every week.
Right.
So I don't want to hear that. Or even a college player. You're up for the game every week.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think Caleb Williams has anything to prove against Kyler Murray. I don't think Kyler Murray's as good a quarterback as anybody ever gave him credit for. He's all right. He reminds me a lot of, Colin Kaepernick, Dante Culpepper, like good quarterback, but really more of a glorified running back. I don't dislike the guy. I'd love to see Kyler Murray do well. I think he's going to have a great career, but he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. They're kind of inflating him out there, and I think it's hurting him, honestly. I think the Cardinals win today. I don't think it's going to be as close. I think it's probably a 10-point differential. I think it's probably like a 30-20 or a 27-21 situation, something like that. I think the Bears defeat themselves somehow again. I don't think it's going to be a spectacular implosion. I think they're going to fight hard the first couple quarters, and then something's going to go haywire. Cardinals are going to return the opening kickoff of the second half for a touchdown or something. Like, it's going to be something like that just pulls the wind out of their sails, and they're not going to be able to get it back. Lions-Packers, though, I agree. Absolutely game of the week. I know the Bucks and Chiefs, that looks like a really good game. Colts and Vikings, not going to be great. I think the Vikings win that game, by the way. But Lions-Packers, this is the one to watch today. This is going to be, I think it's going to be football at its most football, in a sense. It's outside. It's supposed to be cold and rainy. It's two of the toughest teams in the league right now, I think, from every aspect of the word. The one thing I will hand to the Lions in this game is I think their defense might be a little more prepared for us than we are prepared for them to be, if that makes sense. I think Jordan Love's going to struggle a little bit in the first half. I think we pull it together in the second half and we eke out a win. It's going to be close. It's really going to come down to whoever has the football last. And I think it's going to be a 4-minute drill probably that takes the game. So if we end up with the football in the last 4 minutes and in a position to score, regardless of field goal or touchdown, I think we win. But it's going to be awful close. And it's going to be high scoring. Probably 34-31, 27-24, something like that. It's going to be hard. It's going to be a very tough game to watch, but it's going to be great football. This is a matchup that would have made Thanksgiving just like that whole berry cranberry sauce right over that turkey with a good slice of ham on a fresh roll with butter. Can you tell I'm a little hungry? But for all the football fans out there, we hope your teams have a great week 9, unless you're a Lions fan, unless you're a Cardinals fan, or if you're the other golfers on the course with the Niners this week. From all of us here at Cut the Cheese, Poke the Bear, Roast the Niner, we are ready for some football. Are you? Uh-oh, it's not letting me hit stop. All right, well, I can cut this part out. I'm going to refresh and see if this lets me stop the recording.
Interesting. Oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
It's the misses.
I'm very sorry.